Hello everyone. Today we are talking about the inguinal canal. So let's get started. Okay. This inguinal canal is an intermuscular passage. Inguinal canal is an intermuscular passage and it lies above the medial half of the inguinal ligament. It is 4 centimeter long and lies above the medial half of the inguinal ligament, medial half of inguinal ligament. Okay, this inguinal canal is an oblique intermuscular passage, 4 centimeter long, lies above the medial half of the inguinal ligament. Now, coming to the contents of the inguinal canal, this inguinal canal consists of it consists of in male spermatic cord in male and round ligament of uterus in case of female. Spermatic cord in case of male and round ligament of uterus in case of female. Spermatic cord in case of male and round ligament of uterus in case of female and ilioinguinal nerve. Ilioinguinal nerve in both male and female. Ilioinguinal nerve in both male and female. This ilioinguinal nerve is not a true content, it is a false or pseudo content of the inguinal canal. False or pseudo content of inguinal canal is ilioinguinal nerve. And these are the true contents of inguinal canal. True contents are spermatic cord in case of male and round ligament of uterus in case of female. Okay, this is about the contents of inguinal canal. Now let us discuss about the contents of spermatic cord. This spermatic cord, you may get a separate question on this diagram, that is content of spermatic cord. So the spermatic cord, it consists of, first of all I will label the coverings of spermatic cord. This is external spermatic fascia. This is cremasteric fascia, and this inner fascia is internal spermatic fascia. External spermatic fascia, cremasteric fascia, and internal spermatic fascia. Okay. Now, coming to the contents of the spermatic cord, the first content is ductus deferens. This is ductus deferens. Okay, and this one is artery to the ductus deferens. Okay, no. Artery, here is some artery, that is artery to the ductus deferens, and this is genitofemoral nerve. Now next content, this is cremasteric nerves and vessels. Cremasteric nerves and vessels. Then this is testicular artery. And this surrounding structure is pampiniform plexus around the testicular artery. Surrounding structure is pampiniform plexus around the testicular artery, and this dotted structure is remnant of processus vaginalis. This dotted structure is remnant of processus vaginalis. vaginalis. So we talked about the contents of spermatic cord, and in contents of spermatic cord, we have first covered the coverings, that is external spermatic fascia, cremasteric fascia, and internal spermatic fascia. Then this is testicular artery, and surrounding structure is pampiniform plexus around the vein. Then ductus deferens, artery to the ductus deferens, genitofemoral nerve, cremasteric nerves and vessels. Okay, the remnant of processes vaginalis. These are the various contents of the, and one nerve which is present here. This nerve is ilioinguinal nerve. Ilioinguinal nerve. So this ilioinguinal nerve is a part of inguinal canal. It is a pseudo or false content of the inguinal canal, but it is not a content of spermatic cord. Though ilioinguinal nerve is a pseudo or false content of the inguinal canal, this ilioinguinal nerve is not a content of spermatic cord. Write down this point in a box, separate box. Okay, this is about the contents of the spermatic cord. After that, we will discuss about the relations of the inguinal canal, and for studying relation of the inguinal canal, first of all I will draw a diagram here. For understanding the relations of inguinal canal, I will draw a diagram here, and this diagram, and from this diagram we will study the various relations of the inguinal canal, anterior and posterior relations of the inguinal canal. So I will draw a diagram. This is fascia transversalis, and a defect in the fascia transversalis is known as, this is fascia transversalis. Defect in the fascia transversalis is known as deep inguinal ring. Second thing, that is, this is external oblique aponeurosis, and the defect in external oblique aponeurosis is known as superficial inguinal ring. Superficial inguinal ring. So first of all, we will study about the deep inguinal ring and superficial inguinal ring. This deep inguinal ring is defect in the fascia transversalis. Defect in the fascia transversalis, first point. This superficial inguinal ring is defect in external oblique aponeurosis. This deep inguinal ring, it acts as an inlet for the inguinal canal. This deep inguinal ring, it acts as an inlet for the inguinal canal. It acts as an inlet for inguinal canal, and superficial inguinal ring, it acts as an outlet for inguinal canal. This deep inguinal ring, as we have studied in previous lecture, it is located 1.25 centimeter above the mid inguinal point. 1.25 centimeter above the mid inguinal point, and the superficial inguinal ring is located here. If this is pubic symphysis, this is pubic crest, and this is pubic symphysis, pubic crest, and pubic tubercle. Pubic tubercle, pubic crest, and pubic symphysis. So this is medial side and this is lateral side. So the superficial inguinal ring is located medial and above the, this is medial side and above the pubic tubercle. So this superficial inguinal ring is located medial and above the pubic tubercle. Superficial inguinal ring is located medial and above the pubic tubercle. Now, one important ring which is present here, this ring is known as femoral ring, and this femoral ring is located below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. This femoral ring is located below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. Therefore, this pubic tubercle, it is the landmark for the this pubic tubercle is the landmark to differentiate between femoral and inguinal hernia. Femoral and inguinal hernia. Okay. Try to understand this point. If the hernia occurs above and medial to the pubic tubercle, then it is inguinal hernia, of course. And if it occurs below and lateral to the pubic tubercle, then it is femoral hernia, obviously. Therefore, this pubic tubercle, it acts as a landmark to differentiate between femoral and inguinal hernia. Okay, clear up to this point? Okay. Now, I will join this point. This is inguinal canal. Okay, this is inguinal canal. Now, this is anterior wall and this one is posterior wall. Anterior wall and this one is posterior wall. Okay, try to understand. The anterior wall is formed by external oblique aponeurosis and posterior wall is formed by fascia transversalis. One more here also present, transversus abdominis and internal oblique. Internal oblique and transversus abdominis is also there, which join above the inguinal canal. We join above the inguinal canal and it forms a tendon that is known as conjoint tendon. That is known as conjoint tendon. And one more structure which is present here below the conjoint tendon, this is known as reflected part of the inguinal ligament. Reflected part of inguinal ligament. Reflected part of the inguinal ligament. So, anterior wall is formed by external oblique aponeurosis, which is strengthened laterally. Which is strengthened laterally by internal oblique and transversus abdominis, which is strengthened laterally by internal oblique and transversus abdominis. Okay. Posterior wall is formed by conjoint tendon. Posterior wall is formed by fascia transversalis, first point, and strengthened, which is strengthened medially by conjoint tendon and reflected part of inguinal ligament. Reflected part of inguinal ligament. Okay, clear up to this point? So we have studied that this is fascia transversalis, and defect in the fascia transversalis is known as deep inguinal ring, and defect in the external oblique aponeurosis is known as superficial inguinal ring. This deep inguinal ring, it is located 1.25 centimeter above the mid inguinal point, and superficial inguinal ring is located above and medial to the pubic tubercle, and femoral ring is located below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. Deep inguinal ring, it acts as an inlet for the inguinal canal, while superficial inguinal ring, it acts as an outlet for the inguinal canal. Now, this anterior wall of the inguinal canal is formed by external oblique aponeurosis, which is strengthened laterally by internal oblique and transversus abdominis. And this internal oblique and transversus abdominis it joins above the, it forms the roof. It forms the roof of the inguinal canal and it joins to form conjoint tendon. Okay. Therefore, this posterior wall of inguinal canal is formed by fascia transversalis, which is strengthened medially by conjoint tendon and reflected part of the inguinal ligament. Reflected part of the inguinal ligament. So, anterior wall, posterior wall, and roof is formed by joining of internal oblique and transversus abdominis, that is conjoint tendon. And this is about roof. Okay. And floor is formed by lacunar ligament. Floor is formed by lacunar ligament and inguinal ligament. So I will write down here, floor is formed by lacunar or Gimbernat ligament and inguinal ligament. Lacunar or Gimbernat ligament and inguinal ligament. So this is all about the inguinal canal. It contains then spermatic cord, its covering and contents, then relations, that is anterior wall, posterior wall, medial, lateral, and this point pubic tubercle, it acts as a landmark to differentiate between the inguinal and femoral hernias. Okay, inguinal hernia occurs when it is above and medial to the pubic tubercle, and when it occurs below and lateral to the pubic tubercle, then it is femoral hernia. Okay, clear up to this point? So this is about the inguinal canal. Thank you so much. Keep watching.